Alright guys, today we're going to talk about how to start a successful online business if you're a broke kid, a broke teenager, or really just somebody trying to, figure out the best approach and the most, the most optimal way to start an online business here today in 2018. So, should you start should you do arbitrage? Should you do private labeling? Should you do dropshipping? Which online business should you get into, and what is the best one to actually take action on first if you're looking to start a successful online business? Alright, now let's just jump right in. Now, full disclosure, I actually am practicing what I preach. I didn't just start this way, but I actually still do this today. So, this isn't just something I'm saying, this is actually something that I practice on a day-to-day basis, and I have experience with, and I know what I'm talking about when I convey this to you. So please, 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 if you're in a specific situation where you're broke or you don't have a lot of money, or you're new and you're trying to start an online business, listen to this. It's going to help you. So, what should you do when if you're broke or you're a little bit low on funds, or maybe you have a job but you just don't have a lot of cash or a lot of potential investment to put into that online business? What should you start first? Which business should you attack first? Let's jump in. Now, you might have something in mind. You might have something that piques your interest. Maybe that's dropshipping. Maybe you want to hop into private labeling. I know they're two of the most popular ones right now. Maybe it's starting a personal brand. Maybe you want to start a software company or run an app. Maybe you want to be a YouTuber. Maybe you want to create a course, create some digital content. I have experience with every single one of these, except software actually. I've never created software or an app, but I have, it's obviously a popular one, that's why it's up here. Maybe you want to get into arbitrage or do freelancing or start your own software, not your own software, or start your own agency. Social media marketing is also very popular. Which one should you start first and why? Well, that's a great question. Obviously, first and foremost, if you have a proponent to something or something interests you, you're going to be more likely to succeed with that because it interests you and you care about it. Thus, one thing that I've learned as an entrepreneur, and that all the successful and top entrepreneurs have learned, throughout the process, is that you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna see unforeseen, things are gonna happen essentially, and you're gonna have to adjust and learn from those things that happen. So, if you're picking something that, sparks your interest or interests you a little bit more than others, that's the way that you should go, but you shouldn't go that way first. You want to go that route eventually, and maybe relatively soon, because you're going to have, you're going to be able to adjust and kind of, roll with the punches, so to speak, a little bit more, but you shouldn't go that way first. What you actually want to do is you want to start a cash flow positive business first. What do I mean by that? This is actually something I did when I first got started, and I actually still do now because it cash flows all my other businesses. So, what do you mean by that, Brian? What's a cash flow business? What type of cash flow business should I start? How should I take action on this? And what business should I actually start? You're saying a lot of mumbo jumbo. You're really getting that audience retention up there, but you're not saying anything. So, I recommend that you start a cash flow business. What a cash flow business is something that doesn't require a lot of your time investment necessarily, a lot of your money investment necessarily. A lot of people want to get into software. They want to start an app or software of some form or fashion, and that takes a lot of time. You don't get paid right away. It takes a long time to actually develop some software, and you have to put a lot of money into it. You have to hire developers and engineers and stuff to get that off the ground. Maybe you want to start some digital content. You want to be a YouTuber. That's all fine and well, but guess what? You won't get paid for that for a long time once you build your brand up, once you actually get through the actual process of hitting 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Maybe you already are there, but it doesn't pay that much initially until you actually get really big. Maybe you want to create courses, but you don't have a personal brand yet, or you don't have anybody following you. Maybe you want to try dropshipping or private labeling, but you need money to start those, whether you're investing in somebody else's course to actually learn it, or you're going your own route. You have to pay for ads, you have to pay for products, you have to pay for PPC, you have to pay for, honestly, ads for dropshipping, whether you're doing it on Instagram, whether you're running Google ads or Facebook ads. What I'm trying to say is you need money. So, I'm not saying don't do these things, but I'm saying start a cash flow positive business first, and then use that cash flow positive business to cash flow your other business that you're going. So what do I mean by that? This is exactly what I did. The very first business that I ever started was, I actually did start dropshipping, but I failed the very first dropshipping store I ever started. Since then I have 2 successful stores, don't really do it anymore, but the very first business that I actually did and succeeded with was a social media marketing agency. The reason that that's a good cash flow positive business is because you barely need anything to get started. You need a website, You probably need some handouts to kind of go out there and go door to door, or some form or fashion of contacting or cold calling potential clients. But once you sign a client, and this doesn't have to be social media marketing. This can be SEO agency. This could be literally any agency across the board. Whatever it is, a copywriting agency is another good one. There's so many examples of agencies. I've talked about this a lot in the past. If you want to check out another video, let me know down in the comments, and I'll find one to send you. I've done a million videos like this on agencies in the past and why I think they're great. But like I said, I started a social media marketing agency, and with that social media marketing agency, I signed 2 clients and was eventually cash flowing about $3,000 a month from that agency business. Now, that was $3,000 profit pretty much, because I think it was like $15 a month for my website, and on top of that, it wasn't very much for any other running costs. The company was paying for the ads, and pretty much it was $3,000 just cash flow in my pocket for providing a service. I didn't take any initial investment like dropshipping or private labeling would, or taking the time to actually create a personal brand or digital content, or investing in software. It was cash flow first, and that funded my dropshipping and my private label inventory in the future. So that's why I suggest doing that first. Now, I still do the same thing. I do arbitrage on a regular basis. I still do arbitrage today. Even though I've built up many other online businesses that aren't arbitrage, guess what? I still do arbitrage because it still cash flows me about 5 to 6, sometimes 7, I don't really scale it up that much anymore, grand every single month. It cash flows my other businesses. It allows me, my arbitrage business, let's say hypothetically, this month I made $5K profit in my pocket from arbitrage. It fluctuates from month to month, obviously, depending on how many products I buy, how much I'm doing it, this and that. But let's say, hypothetically, I wanted to, buy my own time to create content, because I don't necessarily get paid that much for a lot of my YouTube videos. I don't necessarily get paid that much for a lot of the courses that I create on a monthly basis. Yes, I get paid, but it's more stretched out over months from creating them on Udemy. So that cash flows my digital content. That cash flows all the potential time invested for my personal brand. It cash flows a lot of the ads that I spend on my personal brand and my digital content to actually sell my courses and bring people into my email funnel, which is another business that I start now. But cash flow business first, put cash in your pocket, because everyone's number one problem when they first get into entrepreneurship is more money. Get paid first, and then focus on something that catches your eye, where you actually need to invest your money or your time into making work. So, 3 best types of cash flow businesses in my opinion. Arbitrage is a great one. I teach this all the time. Online arbitrage is phenomenal. I still do it, and it still cash flows my businesses. Freelancing. You can freelance if you have a skill. Fiverr, Upwork. There's a million different freelance websites. There's probably 3 or 4 other ones that aren't coming to my mind right now. You can freelance. Start an agency. If you know SEO, start an SEO agency. Sign a client for $1,000 or $2,000 a month. Cash flow immediately. Social media marketing is another great example of that. Copywriting is another great example of that. Any skill that you have, or any skill that you want to learn it and start an agency. You're cash flow positive in a month or 2 max, and you don't have to start up with any investment funds. People get into private labeling or dropshipping, and for example, without cash flow, let's say you had to invest $1,000 in your first private label product. That's all well and good, but you're $1,000 in the hole, and then you didn't realize that you have to give away, maybe $400 worth of products to get ranked, and you didn't realize that you had to spend another $400 to $500 on ads, and then you might be net zero at the end, because after all your sales, you spend a month or 2 on your private label, business ranking, your private label listing, and then you have to reinvest in inventory, and now you might be down $3,000 in the hole. And yes, your listing looks good, but you haven't made any money, and in fact, you're actually losing it 3 months in. So that is not for everybody, obviously. It varies from product to product and person to person, but that's just an example of why you don't necessarily want to start here. It's better to start over here. Drop shipping. You don't need to invest in any initial products to do drop shipping, but guess what? You might have to spend $500 on ads, to get an influencer to send traffic to your website so that you can collect people in your pixel, and then maybe you might spend another $500 on ads, to send your product on ads to those people that visited your website to sell your dropshipping products. So, not a great business start either. These require time. Not a great business either. I think it's common sense. Just drill that. Why you don't want to start a software agency or go into debt to start any of these businesses. Not a good idea. Instead, start over here with a cash flow business. then use that cash flow to fund your other business. Hope you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I genuinely appreciate it, and it lets me know that you like content like this so I can make more of it, and I'll see you in the next one.